Welcome to ESP Plus 101 Search and Collections. My name is Kevin and I'll be your instructor today. This session is the first in our three-part series of ESP Plus webinars. In this hour-long webinar, we will log into ESP Plus, demonstrate how to navigate the homepage, search for products, review collections, and create a project. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, I'm already in the ESP Plus page, but all you need to do is open your browser. On the address bar, which is here at the top, you type espplus.com. It takes you to the login page where you're able to type your username or email, your password. If you don't remember your password, you have the forgot password option, which if you click on it, it's going to require or request your email. It will send you then an email so you can reset your password through that email. Once you have your password, you can come back to this page. You will type your password on this screen here, and you have the remember me. Now, remember me would allow the system to remember your username or email, whatever you type in the first box, which makes it a bit easier for you to just come in and type your password if you need to. Once you're ready, you click on login, and you are immediately taken to the home page of ESP Plus. Now, from the home page of ESP Plus, you can start searching immediately. That's the first thing you see at the center of the screen. To search the industry most comprehensive database, and you have the search bar. Now, before we talk about the search bar and we do a search, I want to focus on the top right corner, which is the toolbar, and we're going to start from here. Now, the first thing you see on the toolbar is collections. Now, collections is a group of products that you saved, which could be under a specific theme, or it could be just random products that you saved to the collection. On a collection, you can save up to 250 products, and collections can be used for presentations or orders, and I'll show you later on how you're able to start a presentation or order from the collections. Next, you have what we called the projects folder or projects button. It's essentially a centralized hub that encompasses or all endeavors for our customers. So projects include presentations, orders, as well as budgeting and various demographics regarding the scope of the event or promotion for your customer. So that's what the project does, and that's what you're able to use the projects for. We're going to go into more details later on in regards to how to create a project, what you see within the project. And one thing I want to mention is that both collections and projects can be shared, which means that you can collaborate with other users under your account if you have multiple licenses, so that when they create a project or when they create a collection, they're able to share with you or make it visible for you to be able to see the collection or project. Next is CRM. Now, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Manager, and this is where you can manage the data for our companies and contacts in ESP Plus. So whenever you create a customer or a company, it will be under CRM. Currently, you don't have access to websites, so we're just going to skip that and we're going to go straight to the Help Center. Now, the Help Center provides us with a link to check what's new. You can contact support, go to the knowledge base to look for articles and one-on-one like training videos that we have in regards to um, ESP Plus and websites if you're interested or have a website. You can also sign up for live training sessions. This is a recorded version, but you can sign up for a live training session where you'll be able to ask questions while the webinar is on it, and whoever is the facilitator or trainer that day will be able to answer those questions for you or let you know that they'll get back to you. You have other options as well as submit an idea. If you want to submit an idea in regards to ESP Plus, you can do it from here as well. Next is the notifications bell. In the notifications bell, you'll receive alerts every time there's an action taken on a project, whether it's you or most of the time the notifications will be from a colleague, a collaborator, or the customer. So if you send a presentation, you share a presentation, you share a quote, when you share that and the customer makes any type of selection or sends an email with questions, you're going to get that notification here letting you know that that customer replied back or created requested a quote. If it's a change that someone did to a project, you'll see it here as well. And lastly but not least is the accounts button. Under the accounts button, you have settings where you're able to manage like your username, password, and you can also just modify any personal account settings information, especially if you're the admin user. You'll have more access and you'll have more liberty of making changes, not just to your own credentials, but other users' access and what they're able to see. You have the license agreement, you have preferred suppliers list where you can create a list of preferred suppliers. You have the client safe mode button, and then you have the logout button. With the client safe mode, this allows you to hide the net cost and the supplier's information. So let's just say that you have the customer right next to you, or you're expecting the customer to be with you and you want to show them some products. You can turn that on. That will hide all suppliers information or net cost information. And again, net cost is your price. It's the price you pay the supplier. And the only thing that will be available is the suggested price by the supplier, excuse me, for your customer, and all saved customer information. So most likely product details and things like that. Um, or not most likely, but most of the time. Now, we can now focus on searching and more on the homepage. And one thing you're able to do with ESP Plus is you have some categories which are available to you immediately. So if you're looking for products made in the US, you can click here, live inventory, or any of these two. If you want to look at feature categories, you click on this button and it gives you feature categories. So you can click on whatever category you're interested on. And then you can from there start selecting products and add to presentations and things like that. Uh, Again, you have that search bar, which I mentioned. You have the ability to change from product to supplier to decorator. Maybe you're not looking for the product information, you're looking for the supplier's information. You can change that to supplier, start typing the supplier's ASI number or name, and then you're going to get a list of suppliers. We have Get Inspired by AI when you're searching, and then you have the top searches available in ESP, and this is for all users. It's not your top searches, but all users using ESP Plus. If you scroll down before we start searching, I just want to talk about the different boxes that may appear when you're on the home page. You have product of the day for the entire ESP, so all users will have the same product of the day. You have the trending products, continue searching, so whatever your last search was, you'll have a box that tells you continue searching or because you search or something similar to that. Then you have feature categories inspired by your search, new products, latest specials, and all the way at the end, you have the ability to provide feedbacks or suggestions in regards to ESP Plus. So if you have a comment, feedback, a suggestion about the system, something that you think will work with the system, you can click on email us, type the email, and we'll receive it here at support. And we'll forward the email to the suggested department or the best department that will be able to work on those features if it's something that's highly requested. Now, again, going back to the center or the top of the page, we got that search bar. When you're on ESP, you can just, where it says what are you looking for, you can start typing either the product number or the product name. And because ESP Plus is an intuitive system, an intuitive search engine, when you start typing, let's say pens, immediately you get suggestions. So you'll see where it starts saying with stylus, full color, rose gold. So if I type with, now it says with two color imprint, with stylus tip, with pens with clip or cap, excuse me. But you're gonna see different suggestions. And if you need to click on any of them, you can, or you can just finish typing whatever you wanted to type. Or as I mentioned before, you can definitely use the Get Inspired by AI. So if you click on Get Inspired by AI, now you have the ability to click on an event. If any of the events you see here doesn't apply to you, you can definitely type a custom event on this box. Same thing with the client industry. If the industry is not what you're working with or is not part of the event you're trying to create or search for, you can use the box here to then type the client industry or the industry that you're trying to search within. Lastly, the recipient's attributes. You can use any of the options suggested or predetermined or pre-added into the system, or again, just use the custom option. And when you start searching, let's just select something at random here. We're going to say graduation, education, and lastly, we're going to do students. We click on generate recommended products. It will take a few seconds loading, and then it will take you to the this is what we call the product results page, where you have all the products results of whatever search you did. Now, with AI, if you click on the product image, you'll be able to see here the reason why the AI or the artificial intelligence suggested this product. So it tells you more information of why this product is suggested, why they think this is a good product for what you selected. And then you can go from there, whether you wanted to add it to a collection, presentation, or order. You have those options here on the right. But before we move on to those steps, I want to actually start a search from something I want to search for. So let's say power banks will be my suggestion. This is the search I'm doing for my customer. I'm going to click on enter. You can also click on the magnifying glass, which is over here. Now, no matter what search you do, no matter what page you're on, you'll be able to see the search bar here on the top left. So you can immediately change to a different search, different project, or add additional details to the search that you're already searching or working with. So for example, I'm doing power banks. If I want to, I can add USB-C, as you see a suggestion, or I can add other information in regards to the power bank. Now, another thing about ESP Plus is when you're searching and you're on the product results page, you have the filters here at the top that allows you to select more details about your product. Now, the more details you select, the more specific the search is, and the easier for you to find the product it becomes. So you can select any of these options. So for example, if I'm looking for a specific supplier, I can say PCNA. I can select it. Remember, once you select it, make sure you click apply, because selecting the supplier doesn't actually apply the filter to the search. So I'll apply it to the search. And now I can select any of the other options, like if I'm looking for a specific quantity, color, I can go to show more. I have material, size, themes, and any of these options that I can add, as well as the check boxes you see down here if necessary. I can change the market if I'm in the US or Canada, or I can see all markets if I wanted to by leaving it on all. That will be the predetermined option. Um, but if you want to change it to only US or Canada, you have those options available there. Once you're done, you can either click apply if you selected anything, or you can reset if you want to go back to the default, which is nothing selected. If you're done on this page, you can click on show less, and it goes back to the search. And at this point, what I want to do is let's go ahead and select just one product. Um, Before we select the one product, I want to show you the different things you might see when you're searching. So obviously here on the right side, you have the sort by, so you can change it to any of the options available. You have the ability to check boxes. So if you're selecting more than one product, once you select them, you'll have the ability to add them to a collection, presentation, or order. Each product has three dots on the image, which if you click on them, you'll be able to add them to a collection, presentation, or order. And you're only adding the one product that you clicked on the three dots to. You have the image, so depending on the product, whether it has more than one image, when you hover over the product, you'll be able to see an additional image or the next image in the image order. And it also tells you how many colors that it has available. So this one has 2 colors, this one has one, this one has one. You see the product name. You have, if you hover over it, you have the product number. If you don't, it's not going to show that. It also shows you the, well, depending on the supplier, you'll be able to see whether it's out of stock or if it's in stock. This one here, it shows you the product number. Some products will show production time. This one doesn't. It tells you maybe the least minimum. So it's like the cheapest, I'll say cheapest option of the product. I'm going to select this product here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And aside from seeing the supplier's information, if you need more information about the supplier, you can click on the supplier's name. Preferred 3 is related to the preferred suppliers list, where you can create a preferred suppliers list and add ranking. This is part of my preferred 3 ranking, so this is one of my favorite suppliers or one of the suppliers I like to work with. But when you click on the product image, it takes you to the product page. So this is the product detail page. The one before was the product results page. Now, the product detail page, the first thing you see, the things that is going to call you the attention immediately is the product image. So you'll see a big image of the product, which if you hover over it, you'll be able to zoom in if you need to look at more details or more in detail about the product. You can download it. If you had more than one image, you'll see it here and you'll be able to select between the images. Also, when you hover over the product, you have 2 arrows to go forward to the next image or go back to the previous image. You can print this page. You have the product name, the product number, the CPN, which is the coded product number. You can provide the CPN to your customers. This product number you see here is not the same product number that you'll see if you search for the same item, because this coded product number is unique to my account. So the only way you can find a CPN is if if that CPN number was found in your account. If you have a website for customers, it will show the CPN, or you can have the website show CPN, and you'll be able to grab that CPN, go to ESP Plus, and search for it. But if you're looking at somebody else's CPN number, or somebody else goes to your website and tries to search it on ESP Plus on their account, they won't be able to find it using the CPN number. You have the summary. You have services available like rush service. It might, depending on the product, suppliers, you might see other options here. You have a price range, the colors available, the sizes available, the imprint method. This is the attributes. You might also see material and I believe shape. So you might see that information here in regards to this product. It only has these 3. You have the action buttons, which we'll come back to it. You can also look at related products depending on what you search or what product you clicked on. It might show you related products in regards to that. You have the supplier's information, which if you click on this little drop down here, you'll be able to get more information like their address, their either coordinator, manager, leader. You'll see different titles in regards to the person. You have their working hours and dates, phone number, and all the information there. If you need to send an email, you can do it from there. You have the product information, which gives you just more details, like all the details that was added to ESP Plus by the supplier. Same thing with imprint information, all the details they added will appear here. Production and shipping, you'll see it there. Safety and warning as well. All you have to do is click on it to show the information. Keep in mind, if you don't find some type of information on this page or on any of these boxes, your best option will be to contact the supplier directly, because this is the information we have access to. So if you don't see the answer of your question or the information you need here, the only person or the only company that can help you would be the supplier. So at that point, you can use the show contact information to either email or call them. You may have options like you may also like or more from this supplier at the bottom. And then here on the left will be one of the most important details, which is the quantities and pricing. So depending on the product, the reason why I selected PCNA is because they provide not just inventory, but most of their products, at least with power banks, have different pricing grids. So I wanted to show a product that has all the details that you might sometimes find with suppliers. So because this product has different imprint methods, uh, and they have different pricing depending on the imprint method, you'll have different pricing grids. So this one tells you is by imprint method. If you're looking for a flash drive, it might be by capacity or the size of the flash drive. If you're looking for maybe, let's say, apparel, sometimes depending on the material or the color of the apparel, you might have different pricing grids. But again, this one is focused on the imprint method. And if I click here, it has unimprinted, which it will be cheaper if it's unimprinted. This is the catalog price, which means this is the price that they recommend for your customer. This is what you're going to pay. And then profit is the difference between catalog price and net cost. So basically, this will be your earning per a product or per quantity. So the quantity of one, you're earning $37. Quantity of four, you're earning $37.28. And if you continue the quantities, it's going to be the same. But let's go with digital inject as the input method. And as I said, the price goes up. You see the catalog price, you see the net cost, you see the profit, you see the quantities. Anything above 50, this is the price you're going to go with. So 124. If you want to get some type of deal or arrangement, just contact the supplier. If you're ordering more than 50, maybe you're ordering 150 and maybe want to get a bigger discount. That's not something we decide. That's something the supplier will decide. So it's a conversation between you and the supplier. Because this is only one color, the only difference is the imprint method. There's really isn't many selections, but if you had multiple colors, you'll be able to select whatever color you're looking for or whatever size you're looking for, and you will select it. It will tell you how many they have available, which right now, total availability is 888 for this specific product. Now we can come back to the top and talk about the different action buttons. We have add to collection, add to presentation, and add to order. Today, we're not going to speak about orders, adding to order. Um, we are going to add it to a project, which at the same time or simultaneously is creating a presentation. So I'm going to show you how you add the product to a presentation, but we're not going to go into details into presentation. Now, the next webinar in this section, the next part of this three-part session is ESP Plus 102 presentation. So it's going to go into details about making changes to the presentation. You can also go to the 103 video, which I do recommend to watch videos in order. So go from this video to 102 and then 103. But if you need to create an order, you can skip to 103 and watch ESP Plus 103 quotes, orders, and invoices, which will go more in details about adding an order and configure an order in regards to products. But let's go ahead and we're going to talk about adding to a collection first. And you can do the estimated shipping. So if you click on estimate shipping, you can add the details like the quantities of the product you're looking for, and it tells you already how many products per package they add. And then it's going to give you some suggestions here on the right side of the different services and how much it may cost with those services. All right, so let's go ahead and close this. I was looking for the X. Oh, it's up here. All right, so let's click on add to collection. We're going to, instead of using a previous collection, which you're able to use, that's totally fine. You can click on whatever collection you want to add to. Once you click on it, it's going to tell you save successfully. But in this case, I want to create a brand new collection. Now, normally it shows you the top 5 most recent collections you created or that was created under your account. If you're not able to find that, you can just type the name of the collection over here. Let's go ahead and click on create a new collection. We're going to call it power banks. and I'm going to put 24 as 2024. Descriptions are not required, only the name. So we can click on create new collection. You can add a description if you want to. You got the successful message. And if you want to access that collection, it will be found under collections. It's going to show us one of the most recent, collections, usually at the top because it's the most recent one that you created. There it is. It takes a few seconds to appear. So just give it a few seconds and it will show up. You can also click on all collections, or you can type the name of the collection you're looking for here. If it's not one of the top most recent collections, we understand that in this industry it's a fast-paced industry, so you might be working with multiple projects at the same time. So if you're not able to find it, you can type the name of the collection. If you go to all collections, you're able to see all collections at the same time, owned by me, meaning that you created, share with me, meaning that they made this collection available to everyone, or they made me a collaborator, which I'll show you later on how in a few minutes how to do it. And then you have archive, which you can save the collection, basically disable the collection until you're able to work on it or decided to work on it. Maybe you're still adding products, but you don't want it to be available or active under collections. Like if they search here, you can archive them, come back later on and work on it. Now, when you find a collection, you can click on these three dots. This is how you can archive the collections. You can duplicate it or transfer ownership. Maybe you're not the owner, or maybe you don't want to be the owner. You just created the collection for someone else. You can transfer ownership. They'll become the owner of that collection and they can work on presentations or anything else they want to use it for. You can delete it from here. And if you click on the collection, here on the left hand side, you can change the name, change the description, and you can click on manage to add a collaborator, which means you're still going to be the owner, but you're just allowing someone else to be able to work on this. So if you do everyone within the company, that means every user under your company will be able to see this collection and they'll be able to find it under share with me uh, in all collections. If you do only the record owner or only the owner, means that you're the only one that can find this collection and make changes to it. When you select everyone, you can allow them to edit, or you can make the collection to be viewable only, meaning that they can view, select products, add it to a presentation, but they can't they can't add or remove products from the collection. Lastly, you have select individual, where you can look for users under your ASI number or under your account and add them as a collaborator. So if I want to add my colleague, Eves, I can just look for their name, click on it, and leave them as the admin so they can make those changes that I want them to make. I can click on save, and now my name and his name, or my initials and his initials, will appear as the collaborators or the owner and collaborator of this collection. Now, if I wanted to, I can go back to searches. I can go ahead and select a couple more options, maybe from different suppliers, add to collection, and there it is. And now I have 4 products on my collection. It tells you successfully 3 products were added, collections, power bank, and now it might take a few seconds. Um, there we go. And now I have all my products in my collection. So at this point, I can select multiple products and add it to a presentation or to a project, or I can select all products, which these 2 options is basically a select all option. So I can click on add to presentation and I'm adding all 4 to my presentation. Now, you also have the ability to sort by the products you have in the collection. And with these 3 dots you see here, you can transfer ownership, archive, duplicate, and delete, which is the same 3 dots you saw when you're looking at the collection under all collections. So let's go ahead and add every single product to a presentation. Now, again, as I mentioned before, when you're adding to a presentation, you're simultaneously adding to a project. So by clicking on add to presentation, we're creating a project, which is my goal today, to create a project. So let's go ahead and either select from one of the previous projects you created, if you have any. You can also search. If you don't see the project you want to work with, you can also just search for the project here, or you can click on create a new presentation and start naming the project. Now, to make it easier or to not overthink things, I'm just going to call it the same as my collection. I can look for the customer I'm creating this for. So if I wanted to, I can create, use one of my previous customers. If not, I can just go with a new customer. And if I don't find the customer either under suggested or whoever I have in my CRM, I can click on create a new company, which now I'm able to add their website. Now, if you add their website, and I'm going to show you, you're able to pull their logo, their icon, and primary color. So if you have the customer's website, or if your customer or company you're working with has a website, you can add it there. Their logo will automatically be pulled, and it's going to be showing on the presentation as one of the titles on the, or on even on older documents, you'll see it as well. If you have QuickBooks integrated, you can add this company to QuickBooks by clicking this dot or turning on this option. You can select the event type. This is, let's call it advertising. You have other options. You can even select other if you don't find what you're looking for or the reason what this event is for. You'll find others around there which you can select. I didn't see it. Now, notice that the only thing that's required is the presentation name, company name, and event type. Everything else is optional. So event date, attendees, enhanced date, budget is optional. We're going to say the budget is 5,000. Just as an example, event date will be the 15th. So enhanced date will be February 13th. So let's make it 2 days before. They want to have the product 2 days before. That's firm, meaning that you can go over the 13th. Now, if you make it flexible, it means that they might be able to receive it on the 14th, or they're okay with receiving it on the 14th, or even 15 in the morning if the project or the event is at night. And then here you can just say the amount of attendees. So we're going to say 500. And whenever you create a company, I would suggest to also add a contact. You can create a presentation, but I would suggest to add a contact because the contact is usually what is used to um, receive the actual product. So we can add an email, we can add a phone number, even an address. That's so basically is recommended, is optional, it's not required, but I do believe that the address is required because this is the address that's going to be used to receive the product. So go ahead and add the address there. I'm going to make him the shipping, billing, and order approver for my presentation or for this specific company. Um, but you can have different contacts. This doesn't have to be the only contact under a company, so you can have a contact for each checkbox if you wanted to. You click on create presentation. You're going to get over here a message saying successful. You can click on edit presentation. It takes you to the presentation so you can make changes. Keep in mind that message might go away really quick. The reason why I stay there is because I hover over it for a few seconds, but normally it takes like 2 seconds to disappear. And if that happens, all you have to do is go to projects and you should be able to see it either at the top or, like I said, you wait a few seconds if you went too fast to the projects folder. In this case, it's already in there. I can also go to all presentations, all orders, and all projects, which I'm going to go ahead and go to all projects. And it's similar to what you saw um, with collections, excuse me, where you're able to select all projects, projects that you are owned or created by you, and projects that were shared with you or made available to everyone, or you were just made a collaborator. So here you see the different steps of the project, which you're also able to see from within the project. First step is negotiation and pricing. Second step is processing and fulfillment. Last step is closed. And when you close the project, you can reopen the project by clicking on reopen project and start working on it again. Each project will have these three dots, which allows you to transfer ownership or close the project from here. If, let's say, this was completely canceled by the customer, they decided to go with someone else, or their event was canceled. You can also search using project phase, enhanced date, event date. You can sort by if you need to from the all projects page. If you, let's say you haven't searched for the product, you haven't searched for the product, but you want to still create a project or presentation or create an order, you can come in here, create it, and then search for the product whenever you're ready. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click on the project name. I can click on show more details if I wanted to. It shows me a bit more detail, like the budget, the enhanced date, and who is managed by or who created this, when it was created. But let's click on the name. It takes us immediately to the project. And when you're on the project, at the top, you see the name of the project, the name of the customer, when it was created, the enhanced date. It lets you know whether it's firm, flexible. If nothing appears there, it means nothing was selected. It's optional whether you select that or not. Tells you who was the last person that made an update to the project. Again, you're able to change who the collaborator is. So if you want to add a collaborator, aside from you being the owner, you can do the same thing we saw before, which is either make yourself the only person that can see this, make everyone available to this project, or make this project available to everyone, decide whether they can edit the project or not. And then you can also select an individual and just you and that individual will be the only people that can actually make changes to it, which I'm going to do the same thing I did with the collection, make me and Eves the person that's in charge of this project. And we're the only ones that can access this project and see the information and make changes to it. Here at the top, you have the different steps and what step you're on. This is automatically updated, so it's not something you have to change manually. You have task, activities, notes, and then the three dots, which allows you to add a note, create a task. When you create an order, you can create a flag, create a PO status, transfer ownership, and close the project. Now you can access notes and tasks from here on the left hand side, same as activities. So here under details, you'll be able to see alerts, tasks, and open items. Um, but you can also just access the activity, notes, and tasks. Before we go to activities, I want to show you what you're able to see there. I want to talk about these tabs you have here. Now the default tab for projects is overview. So this is where you're able to see what we just talked about, which is activity, notes, and tasks. This is where you're able to create that. You see the product information, which actually you can see that from every single tab, and you'll see it soon. You have the primary contact for the customer, which we added myself, and you have the name of the company right below and the address we added. If we added phone number and email, we'll show it there too. Um, and then you have presentations, quotes, orders, and invoices, and proof, which we'll go through that in a few minutes. Um, so like I said, under activities, any changes that are made to this project or any response that the customer gave you, you'll see it here. So anything that happens on this project, you'll get an activity notification, you get an activity box that will let you know what happened. So if Eves decides to come in here, add more products, remove products, send the presentation over to the client, that will let me know here that that happened, and I'll also get a notification here on the top right in regards to whatever activity was created. You have notes, which you can add notes, as well as my colleague can add notes, or whoever the collaborator is, they'll be able to add notes to this project. You have task, which you can create tasks for your collaborators or any other user under your account if they have access to the project. And whenever you create the task, it will show here, and you have different filters to find other tasks you created before. The next tab is presentations. From presentations, it changes just a bit. The top remains the same, but under presentations, you're able to see the presentation information. Once you share it, you'll be able to see how many products were disliked, like, excuse me, how many products were disliked, how many products were liked, and how many products were requested. And last viewed, like when it was viewed, you have the project details, which I mentioned you'll see on almost every tab that you have available under projects. You can preview the presentation. You can share the presentation. If you scroll down, you have another method of preview, which is just a small screen. You can uh, maximize the screen. If you want to see it like on normal size, you use this preview option. But from here, it gives you like a brief preview of the product page and the landing page, which shows you the first page the customer will see and how they see every single product. Here on the left-hand side, you have presentation settings where you're able to decide what color, size, shape, material is available within this presentation. You have a pricing range. You can activate pricing, which is by default deactivated, but you can activate pricing. So pricing is available for all products. Additional charges, client discount. You can decide whether you want to allow customers to select the product variant and request a quote from you, so they can enter their quantities, enter their information, and they'll request a quote. That will become a quote under quotes, orders, and invoices, and you can send it back for approval to the customer once it's completed. You have a personal note, which you can create yourself or use AI to create the personal note. You can include a signature. The signature can be managed under accounts, go into settings, and then you have an expiration date, which, if, as I mentioned, maybe I haven't mentioned it, but presentations is a dynamic link, meaning that whatever changes you do to the presentation, it would immediately update the link that the customer has. So however you share the presentation, whether it was a link or an email, whatever link is on that email for them to access the presentation, if you make changes, because it's a dynamic link, those changes will automatically be updated, or those things will be automatically updated on the presentation the way they normally access the presentation from their end. So if you don't want the customer to be able to access this presentation even after the event is over, which in this case, the event we created is on the 15th, we can set a expiration date of the 18th so that they don't come back, let's say a month later, a week later, 2 weeks later, and try to get the same products for the same pricing. If they want the same product, they can contact you and you can decide whether the product remains for the same pricing or is a different pricing because you offer a better pricing in that first conversation you have with them, or the first presentation or event that they had. Further down, you have the products, which you can sort by the order in which the products are showing, and you have these two lines, which allows you to just click and drag to change the order. You have products and unseen products. So whatever products they haven't seen, they haven't clicked on, will show here. Obviously, we haven't shared the presentation, so we see all products under unseen products. If you're interested in learning more about ESP presentations, like I said, you can watch the next section, the next video, which is ESP Plus 102 presentations, and it will go into details about making changes, editing the product, which you can edit the product if you click on the three dots, and then you can hide, delete, or click on the product image to make changes to it. For now, let's go ahead and move on to the next presentation, which in this case, excuse me, not next presentation, the next tab, which in this case is order, quotes, and invoices. Once you have a quote, an order, or an invoice, it will show here. You'll be able to edit the quote, make changes to it. You can even create an order, create a quote. If you watch ESP Plus 102 presentations, it will show you how to convert, how to basically how the client is able to request a quote, how the quote is going to appear, and it was going to show you more details about the presentation. Next is proof. So any proof that you want to send to your customer, you're able to add it here and then send it to them. Once they approve it, it's going to show you the ability to select it as approved or select it as, change or make whatever changes you need to do from the proof could be done from this section. Now, what we went through today, these 4 tabs in the top here and all the options, they are available on every single project you're going to create going forward. So everything we went through, all tabs, all the options, every single product will have it available. The only thing that will vary is the product information or the product you're working with and the customer, obviously, that you're working with, and maybe the name of, obviously, the name of the project. But aside from that, every other option, every other tool is available to you. So you're able to use as many or as few as you need. This concludes our session for today. Thank you for taking the time to completing the first session of our 3-part ESP Plus webinar series. If you're interested in learning more about utilizing the presentation, we do recommend to sign up for our new or next section, which is ESP Plus 102 presentations. To access the training calendar, you can click on the Help Center and go to the ASI Knowledge Base. Then you can click on the training calendar to view all live sessions, as well as to view the next recording of um, this 3-part session. Now, as I mentioned before, this is the knowledge base, this is the help center, excuse me, and this is the knowledge base. And from there, you can access the register for live training, as well as any recording videos we have available at the moment for ESP Plus will be under the training option. You can also contact the ASI Technical Support Team, which is the team I belong to. Our phone number is 1-800-546-1350 option 2, or you can send an email to support@asicentral.com. Thank you for your time and attention, and have a great day.